Sahana vavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome everyone to the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. Now we are doing the study circle on GIta Vahini. I won't say a study circle. We are doing Gita Jnana Yajna. So, and we need to express gratitude to Swami for giving us the opportunity to be part of this Jnana Yajna. As I said, every time you participate, you don't do it, you should enjoy it, but you do so much good merit in your spiritual bank balance. Your bank balance goes on increasing. And if you can't attend, to pray to God, please make it opportunity for me to attend, because only by His grace you can attend. Swami clearly said that, Sri Ramakrishna said that same thing. To participate in the divine activities, in the divine mission, only happens by God's grace. Without that, even if you think something else will come, obstacle will come. I myself remember I wanted to go to see Swami. Even without my planning, he made me come, he sent a message. Sometimes I wanted to go, and the obstacles we couldn't go, many reasons. So whenever you have God and His activities, that is all grace. So always you should have gratitude to Swami and pray that let me continue to be part of this work. So anyway, we are, Swami, the main thing is going on, Gita on chapter 8, Akshara Parabrahma Yoga. So, which deals with Parabrahman, that is Supreme Brahman, who is Akshara. Akshara means something which is temporarily destroyed. Akshara, it is eternal, unchanging, always there. So that is what that means the Supreme Godhead. That's what he's talking about, the ultimate reality, which is Parabrahman, which is Akshara. That is what this chapter about. That is why in the beginning he said, if you want to merge with me, you need to know these 7 things. Right? What is that 7 things? Anybody remembers? One by one, you should at least try to go on remembering, recollecting. Brahman, Karma, Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidaivika, Adiyajna, and 7th is how to leave the body by chanting Om. So this is why important thing is the novels you see one time, movies, but these are the things, Parayana, go on repeating, so it sinks into us. That's very important. The spiritual things is not one time. That's why they say Bhagavata Parayanam and Vishnu Sahasrana Parayanam. That means goes on repeating, so that becomes part of us. That is very important. That is why, and so when we do that, when we lay, what happens? We die thinking about Him. He says, He assured a person who thinks of me and leaves the body becomes one with me, because no, any names. He says, thinking of me, he said, thinking of me, you merge with me. But Om is one of the things. So thinking of me, you leave the body, you will merge with me. That is why that is the essence of the Gita. This Mame, so think of me, Think of me, God can be in the form of Om, which is Nirvikara, or Rama, Krishna, Sai, anything. We can, but you think of me in the last minute, you will become merged in one with me. But how to 3 points I said, there also, please remember, very important. One is Antakale Chameva. So it means not just in the end, including the last moment. That means you cannot think about him last moment just like that. You should, all your life you will be thinking, then at that moment is easy to do that. That is why that word cha is emphasized by the philosophers and saints. Antakale cha, including the last moment, you should think about. The earlier you start, like a Prahlada, Dhruva, 5-year-old boy, he was thinking there are some people who have that spiritual such as young, tender age, they are Purvajanma samskaras. So you need to do that. Second thing is Mamaiva. That means only think of me, not part-time devotees. You think about that, your business, your family, your investments, your children. That means mind is scattered. You try to fill up your mind with God. Mameva, he says, clearly he says, think of me alone. So to think is all life, including the last minute, and only me. Then Arjuna says, it is very difficult, right? How to do that? Then how do you do that? What is the solution? Abhyasa yoga. Constant practice. Day in and day out. You should make it a regular habit. In the morning, I'll think about him for maybe half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, depending upon how much time you can. So I'm retired, I can spend more time. But people who are working, they have to spend 15, 20. But whatever it is, in the morning, evening, throughout the day, you can. There is no wrong when you are driving. You can do like my son-in-law was telling me. He's a radiologist, but says when he is driving from home to work, throughout he will be chanting Gayatri. Anybody we can chant. When we are walking, you can think about him. You are cooking, you can think about him. So there is nothing. So you need to divinize everything. So Abhyas Yoga, that is very important. Constantly practice. The more you do, God makes you do it much more. So this Abhyas. So think of him alone and including the last moment throughout the life. Then this constant practice. Further, that's why he says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. Fight in life, whatever you are doing, do this war, thinking of me. So leave you all your mind and intellect surrendered to me. That is another important point we discussed, because these are all like at least major points we should try to remember and recollect. Then it sinks us. And as we were talking about last week, we talked about Om. You can chant any mantra, but there are 2 mantras which are called Taraka mantras. That means anything, any name of God will take you liberation. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or maybe Hail Mary or Jesus. But these 2 are considered in scriptures Taraka mantras. One is Om, also called Pranava. And second is Rama, because there is a combination of 2 mantras, Narayana, Ashtachari, and Panchachari mantra. So any of these. And we are double dose of Tarak mantras, where Om Sri Sai Ram. In Om Sri Sai Ram, in the beginning, Om is there. That is Tarak mantra. Sri Sai, Sai is Shiva Shakti, and Ram, Om Sri Sai Ram. So when you chant Om Sri Sai Ram, 2 Tarak mantras you are chanting, double dose. So it is good. So you're assured. Om Sri Sai Ram you chant, just you're straight, you will be merged with God or go to heaven at least next step. Merging is the number 1. If you can't merge in God, still you have karma, shesha, left behind. At least go to heaven, enjoy some comfort, and next life you start from there. So that is how you should chant. The way you lead your life, then you live in the presence of God. I want to share something in Ramayana. Lord Rama, his own father, when he died, he didn't could see Rama was not with him. His own father, so he had prayed for his son to be born. But Jatayu, a bird, when he died, he did the last rites for the Jatayu bird, because it allowed Rama, sacrificed her life for Rama, the bird. So God doesn't look whether you are my father, mother, relative, how much love you have for me, how much sacrifice. So Jatayu was sacrificed. Same thing I saw so Swami did for Sai Gita, the elephant. We were there, me and Haima. The day when it left the body, Swami sat there in sun, took care of the last rites. We were there. So it's an elephant, but it is a great devotee of God. So God does, if you really love him, the last moment he will be there. And in Mahabharata, you can see the case of Bhishma, though he was on the wrong side of people, when he was bed of arrows, who goes there? Lord Krishna himself goes there and says, and he takes along with him the Dharmaraja so that he listens. There is a time Bhishma teaches Vishnu Sahasranama, so how the power of chanting the 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. So in every avatar, same thing, Shirdi Baba, there is a chapter, people who have read Shirdi Satcharita, a lot of you might have read, there is a chapter just on people who left the body in divine presence. They talk about one great sannyasi called Vijayananda. So he comes there, going after all places, and then he comes, and he wanted to go and see his mother, because mother. And Baba says, hey, you're a sannyasi, still you are attached to your mother, then what kind of sannyasi you are? So once you are sannyasi, that means you don't have any attachment to anything other than God. So he doesn't let him go. Then he knows, Baba knows he's going to die. So he says, do Bhagavatam for 3 times, 3 saptahas, 3 times, Parayana, you go on doing Bhagavatam. And when he's doing that, he dies after a couple of weeks. So he knows he's going to die. The best way to die is listening to Bhagavatam. And another thing is, there is another great devotee called Sathya Sahib Nolkar. He was a sub-judge. Also, he also spends the last few years with Baba, and he leaves. And Baba says, Punarjanma na vidyate, he won't be born again. He is liberated. Baba himself says, that's Sathya Sahib Nolkar. Another great devotee he had called Meghashyam. This Meghashyam is a Brahmin. He didn't want to come to Baba. His boss tells him, go to Shirdi Baba. He says, no, that guy is a fakir. He's a Muslim. I don't want to go to him because he's an Orthodox Brahmin. But then once he comes to Baba, it took a while for him. He learns he is Lord Shiva himself. So he used to bring the bilwa leaves to the... there's a big story about him. He died. When he died, Baba cried. Usually they're saints, you don't accept. He said he is my great devotee. He followed along with Meghashyama's body throughout and blessed him. And through flowers, he says he is my great devotee. Another wonderful thing is, there is a story in that about a tiger. A tiger, these people, circus, they take the tiger different places so that they can make money. They show the tiger or make it do something. So the tiger became old and very sick. It had disease. These people have an agenda. They took, Baba will cure anything he can cure. They took to Baba so that he will cure the disease of that, so they can continue their business. So they took in the present of Baba. There, it saw Baba. It was very happy. It beat her tail 3 times, died. Those guys were disappointed. Oh my God, we wanted it to be saved so that we have business. So this Baba saw it, and this she saw it. But then they realized, this is a great soul, this tiger, to die in the presence of Baba, looking at Baba. So it must be a great soul. That is the end. It has finished karma. And same thing I saw in Vrindavan. There was a deer Swami was bringing up, and that deer left on Bhishma Ekadashi. And that day Swami gave a talk on that. He was talking to us in the house and said, it is a good karma. So on the day of Bhishma Ekadashi, Bhishma chose the time, right? He could choose whenever he wanted to die. So on that day, Swami took the deer, put the lap, and left the body. So whether it is a deer, or whether it is a bird, or whether it is elephant, Swami takes care. But you need to be love for God's sacrifice. Then all of you read, there is a beautiful discourse Swami gave in 2001 August on Vinayaka Chaturthi. Just he talked about the devotees who lived a long time, served him, and left the body. He talked about Swami Karunyananda. I don't know how many people know him. He was with Swami. He's the one next picture. He used to hold the big umbrella next to Swami. He's an ochre robe. He's a Swami. He lived with Swami for 40 years. Actually, we are different in Chittur. There's where we got married, me and Haima. There is a thing called Jiva Karunya Sangam. This Swami has established for the upliftment of the destitute and other people. There, they used to perform weddings in those days. Now they have fancy halls, but that time, this Karunyananda did that. And this Karunyananda stayed with Swami for 40 years, and he really helped so many people. So Swami said he lived for 100 years because he lived divine life. And same thing with, there is another one. Swami talked about all these people, just in the discourse, just about the people who lived there and lived 100 years. Sheshagiri Rao. Anybody know Sheshagiri Rao? He's the one who used to give arati to Swami. So those, actually, he is another fanatic or orthodox, I shouldn't say fanatic, orthodox Brahmin, he's a Shaivite. He refused to go to Puttaparthi because he doesn't believe, he's a sannyasi, Akara, he's a strict Shaivite doing. Then when he saw Swami, instead of Swami, he saw Lord Shiva. He lost consciousness almost for a couple of days. He saw Swami with the adorned with the Nagas, Nagabhushana, and then so he was so much bliss seeing that. So he continued to give the arati to Swami. Interesting thing is, he also, one time he thought he had died, and Swami said, hey, people say Swami died. Hey, I didn't give you a passport or visa, how can you go? Then he talked and he lived. Then after a while, then finally Swami says he's ready to go. He left. Another classical story is that of Subbamma. Karnam Subbamma, like for Krishna, we say Devaki mother, and Yashoda is the foster mother. Like that, Ishwarama is the mother for Swami, but there is Subbamma, Karnam Subbamma is like Yashoda for Swami. Swami even started a Subbamma Nagar for his 60th birthday. He inaugurated his another name. So this lady, Swami says, when you die, I'll come. Don't worry, Swami gave the assurance. Then that lady died. And Swami was in that time in Chennai, Madras. That is, I think, around 300 kilometers or something, maybe Puttaparthi, I don't exactly. So, and then this lady died, and they were waiting for Swami. Then people said, you see, your Swami cheated you. He said he will come, he didn't come. Then Swami comes. By the time she already died for 1 or 2, then they said even ants were coming. Then Swami came, hey, Subbamma, get up. And she woke up. And then Swami took the tulasi water, that's usually they say is good, and put in her mouth. She was there for a while, and then she left the body. You can see that even Shidi Baba did it for Baijama. So when she was dying, calm. So at the end, because they lived their life thinking about God, working. And there is another one called Suraya. He used to be working in Venkatagiri Asthanam. He came to see Swami. He used to do a lot of seva. So he also, Swami went and he died at the end and took care of him. So, and Kasturi also, when he was dying, Swami went at the time of death. So Swami will take care of us if you think of all the time. Not only physically, I remember one great devotee by name Dr. C.G. Patel. I was there in Vrindavan that time. So he had the cancer and he was sick, but he is the one who hosted Swami when Swami went to Uganda. He arranged all the arrangement in Uganda, Kampala, Uganda. He is the one who did that. So this man, he became sick, and then I was there in the Vrindavan, we were sitting. Swami said, go to America. I said, Swami, no, I want to be with you. I want to die here. No, go back to America. Because his son and daughter, they were all here. Swami says, for them it is hard. So here he came, and he was here for few months, and he passed away. And the time Swami related to a student, on the day he was dying, he has come to me. And that time, this man said, oh, no, Swami has come, put a chair for him. Here he was there. He was telling the family, Swami is here, please put a chair for him, please. Those guys, they couldn't see anything, Swami coming there, but he had that vision. But so he wanted to die there, but Swami wanted, but he saw Swami at the time of death. But my grandmother was very lucky. My father's mother, she was in Puttaparthi. She didn't want to die. She wanted to die in her native place. Swami, God has his own way. But she died in Puttaparthi. So then, that's what she had. It must be a blessed soul. Swami arranged her last rites to arrange her funerals and arrange distribution of clothes and food to people. So my parents who lived there, they had to come and leave the body here. And she was attached to her native place. But that's why God's ways are mysterious. Each one's karma balance. But anyway, wherever you are, as long as you think of God and leave. So these are the stories. Why I'm telling so many stories is, yeah, another one is Dr. Not C.V. Raman, that is different. Raman, he was the convener of Tamil Nadu thing. There also I was there. So he was in the veranda and he was just dead. And he just, in front of Swami, he just left the body on the veranda. There are few other people in the darshan line also, we know. But depending upon this, the more... Surendra in Bundavan, right? Whitefield ashram. So like that in the holy place, that's why say once they say you go to die in Kashi, they say you are liberated. All these holy places in the presence of God. That is why for that you need to have that longing and you need to life. So that is why Swami said, not just pray for long life, but divine life. Actually, in this discourse, Swami said the interesting thing. People go for jogging, take the special vitamins, tablets, go to these food fads, and then the special, they think it is going to give them long life. These people never jogged, didn't exercise, anything. They lived 100 years. Yeah, because they loved God and think. So don't think the jogging will give you long life. Just think about God. I know there is think exercise, Swami, I encourage it, is good. But that is not the one which will do healthy long life. It's God's grace. So he clearly says this 2001 Vinayak Chavati discourse, he said that. Especially, I don't know why he mentioned, don't think long life is depend jogging and exercising, food, special food. You need to watch that, but more important is God's blessings and grace. So that is why people who are addicted to so only those things too much, they spend, they think more important is God's blessings and grace. I think I have spent too much time on the prelude. Now I think you go ahead. So we are going to start on page 69 and the soft copy, on page 142 on the book, printed copy.
Sairam. Sadhakas, can you?
Yeah, keep the microphone closer.
Okay. Sairam. Sadhakas, spiritual aspirants must be always aware of this. The yearning must be directed away from how to be born toward how to die. For birth depends on how death takes place. Death comes first, birth happens later. Folk believe that men were born to die. They die so that they may be born. This is wrong. You are born so that you may not be born again. You die so that you may not die again. That is to say, the man who dies must so die that he is not born again. When once you die, you should not be born again to meet another death. Death is inevitable if you're born. So avoid birth and death. Avoid birth and avoid death. So the sadhaka should not aspire for a good birth. He should seek a good death. You may be born well in a good family or with many favorable circumstances, but subsequent karma may not ensure a good death. So, if a good death is aimed at, the trouble of being born and becoming once again subject to death can be avoided. Every man born must have the end always in view. Cultivate good habits of thought and action in order to make that end genuinely auspicious. Attaining such an end is unmistakable sign of having won the grace of God. Wow, that's a I know I'm actually going to start from the backwards of these two paragraph, even though these are two appear simple paragraph, but so profound and has a practical um, relevance. I think what I really loved is I mean actually a couple of things, but I think the statement at the end is unbelievable that if you have that auspicious departure, that tells not only how you lived, that you just tapped into that divine grace. There's just no other words. There is no explanation. That's why you can't really analyze and judge anybody, because I know last few years I just developed this little observation. It's not to judge or anything. I've been watching at least the people that are close to me, because you can't really know people that you don't know that much superficially. But the people that are close to me, you'll see. I mean, I just observe how they depart when they leave. That's just so profound. And also, I know we think of birth and death cycle, but actually we should think of death and birth cycle. Until I read this, it just hit so hard that the two things came to my mind. It's not that we have to really work hard or do anything, how we're going to die. I know there's so many other factors, but two things I thought of to share. Here it said, number one, align your thought, speech, and action. That coordination is the fundamental thing that as a person I could do. But the number two is the one is that Iswara Arpita Buddhi, that doership. If you overcome those two, and I think the divine grace flows. And also, I think for me, Ishvara Arvita Buddhis seems like that non-doership. It's actually, I feel like it's easier because I'm not carrying the burden. Everything, give it to Swami. He carries the burden. So that's why I think those two is profound. But also, this tells that I could be accumulating last 1,000 lives of karma, so much package, but there is a promise that if I live this life, especially as Anna just said, that in this Gnana Yajna, with his grace, in this life, this is possible to have that auspicious departure.
Yeah, this is very important. Like last week, every time at least take home one point we should memorize, should like a formula, laws, mantra. Last time says essence of the whole Gita. Mami says, so essence of all Upanishads is Gita, right? And the essence of Gita, Swami said last week, is thinking of me and leave the body, be assured you are merged with me. Because Dehante Tava Sayujyam, that is the goal of everybody. So that we don't want to repeat the cycle of birth and again you are born, again get the slaps from the parents, go to school and teachers bother you, get grades, go to college, again born, married. So this cycle goes on repeating. So if you want to do that, how you die is very important. Because here, Swami says, unmistakable sign of divine grace is having the thought. That's why I gave the example of these people, this Karunya, Swami Karunyananda, this Sheshagir Rao, and then this Meghashyama, Nolkar, and Vijayananda, and even the Jatayu bird, all those people, last moment, auspicious moment they had. That means all of them had the divine grace. So that is important. But in the last moment, sometimes we don't have control. But even Baba recommended this man, Vijayananda, this one who was there dying, read Bhagavatam. If you cannot read somebody, let somebody read for you. Even Baba, he is God himself, Shri Baba. But he told people to read Rama Vijayam. There is a scripture called Rama Vijayam. Hey, read for me. And by the time they finished, Baba left the body. But why he doesn't need, he is God himself. But to set an example, when you are living, either get surrounded by good people, have bhajans, or listen to Swami's discourses. That is very, very important. So in case for our family and friends also, we should think about that. Sometimes when you are so much out with illness, you may not be able to judge. Then our duty, if you are really interested in them, to have the peace, we should chant God's name or put bhajans or divine discourse, have satsang. That is the kind we should do. That is good for that soul. So you need, even when I remember that Tamil Nadu state president was Ramani's wife, she is not that old, 50, 55, she had brain tumor, she died shortly. So then Swami told, let her always listen to the bhajans and Swami's words in the last minute. So if they can do, because she, after brain tumors, she cannot judge, the family took it seriously and they were doing that. So it is very important, not only for us when we always live in the thought, but even for our family and friends, always make sure when in their last moments. But if they're not believe in God, they don't want it, that is a different matter. But in general, if they're agreeable, that is a good service you can do there in the last moment. Yeah, so you can see, but they put it before after death. So actually, you need it before death, because after dying, they say, but before, after death is good. There's nothing wrong. Anytime Bhagavad Gita is good, but before dying, the last minute is said Bhagavad Gita, Islam, Vijayam, Gayatri, Bhajans, anything which is tunes the good vibrations to give. That is good for that soul. You are doing the great service. And they themselves, we ourselves chant, that is the best thing. I remember my father, even that day, when he said, oh, leave me alone, he was chanting Om, Om, like that. So just, we need to have that. Okay, so anybody has any comments? Otherwise, you want to continue? Yeah, go ahead. You have made some notes, looks like. Yeah, go ahead.
Sairam, I know if others don't have a question, I wanted to ask you. I pull, because we were talking about even last satsang about Om with all the details, that from 2022 Eternal Companion.
Oh, the editorial.
Yeah, that was so beautiful. I wanted to ask, which I've never came across or read about this. So, pranava as the source of 8 divine treasures. That's Asta Aishwaryas. So, what are those? I mean,
I think that we mentioned.
Right, it's so described.
Yeah, Shrimayi, Characharamayi, Vangmayi, Paratmaramayi. These are all the various attributes of the divine energy, divine Shakti. So they are these are all part of the divine mother. Mother is the Shakti, right? Brahman, and then Brahman's power is, that's why we talk about Maya. So Brahman, and without the power, nothing works, right? That's why they say mother is the one who gives impulse. I remember one time I shared this. So there is these people who believe in Shaktiyas, who believe in mother worship, Kali, and all that. These guys, Krishna consciousness people, they say Krishna can only take you across on the boat, across the river of samsara. He's the one. He's the boatman. Then this man said, my mother hired him. That is why she takes across. The mother, divine mother, hired him. So she is higher. So this mother energy, Shakti, is the one which is Brahman's thing. So these are all the aspects what I said. The Characharamayi, Shrimayi, Paratmaramayi, Vangmayi, all those things are the aspects of divine mother, divine energy. Like even Lakshmi, they say, Dhairya Lakshmi, Santana Lakshmi, Moksha Lakshmi, all those Dhana Lakshmi, Vidya Lakshmi, like that. Those are all the various aspects of the divine mother power. Same thing. This is covered. That's an aspect. This, I think Swami said that to the things. So various aspects. I mean, more and more you dive into that pranava. So this is sort of how it represents Trinity, how the three states, and the Turiya. That is the one most emphasis should be on Turiya. So because we are all lost in Jagrat, Sushupti, and Swapna. That is wakeful, dream, and deep sleep. But the Turiya state, the fourth, they call the fourth state, is not really fourth. So the one which pervades all the three, that is the Brahman. Because without which, there is no waking, no sleep, no dream. And they gave an example of gold and ornaments. We have gold. Okay, with the gold you make nice bracelet, right? And you make a nice necklace. You make nice anklet or nice gold rings. All are made of gold. So without, so people say you take away the rings, still gold exists because of that. So all other instrument, all of these jewels are made of the gold. So without gold, there is no jewel, no area. So whereas so that is dependent on gold, whereas gold is not dependent on the jewel. Similarly, this Turiya state is responsible for our wakeful dreaming and deep sleep. So that is Parabrahman. So they gave the example of this gold and this ornaments, where it is the gold is the basis, which is the Brahman. Okay, any other comments? If not, that is what you read. Good, yeah. So that is because Om is powerful. Go on chanting. That is, you get that because this is non-sectarian, non-denominational, chanted by whether you are a Buddhist or Jains or Vaishnavite, Shaivite, Shaktites, everybody. Om, because it is represents the ultimate Parabrahma. That's why Om Ityekaksharam Brahma. That is what Lord Krishna says. There is only one word, that is Ekaksharam Brahma. So you need to chant that. So, and also even Patanjali, who is the Yoga Sutra, he said, Tasya Vachaka Pranava. Pranava is denoted by this word. This is Brahman is denoted by that. And where do we, every time, every bhajan session, we chant about Swami? When do we chant?
Okay.
Omkara says in the Arati, yeah. So Omkara Rupa, every place, even Ganapati Adarshan Shisham is Pranava Swarupa. And so, yeah, Om Tat Sat Sri Narayana. So Om is there everywhere. And Swami, that is why he started the whole sessions in his Sai sessions, these with the 21 chanting of 21 Oms. So that is the importance Swami gave. Anything else, or we should continue? And here, so I think Swami is going to have, because he's going to tell, he's going to, everybody read that shloka 9 and 10. Swami is going to explain next 3, 4 thing, next chapter, the beginning, the whole thing. Swami is going to explain this Kavim Purana Manushashitara Manori. Swami goes one by one, is Kavim Purana Manushashitara. Actually, Swami loved this Raja Reddy. He's a relative. He stayed with Swami for 19 years, 18 years, 19 years. So he used to, before bhajan session, he used to read that. Because another thing here, 2 things before, anyway, nobody asking. He says, by merging with God, what is the advantage? He says beautifully here, Sloka 15. Mam upetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashwatam napnuvanti mahatmanam samsiddhim paramam gatihi. So what is the advantage? Why should we merge with you? We can be happy like this. No, once you merge with him, so what will happen? So you will have no more birth. And you won't be having these 2 things. What is this? Is describing this place, this world where we are. Dukkhalayam, like we have Devalayam, that God says. So here, Dukkhalayam Ashashwatam. This world has 2 qualifications. It is house of or temple of all troubles. So it is everybody. That is why Lord Buddha said, Dukkham, Kshanikam, Kshanikam. Ashashwatam is temporary. So, like that, Swami says, gave the example on Guru Purnima. I said, we are going and that guy goes to place and he sees vegetarian restaurant and he doesn't see the sign. So he goes there and says, he goes and asks, I want chicken Burma, chicken kurma, something like that. Hey, didn't you see the sign? The sign says vegetarian restaurant. It's only vegetarian food here. So he didn't. Similarly, Swami says there's a big sign God has put to Kalayam Ashashwatam. This is temporary. This is full of trouble. So that is why come to me. I will give you the freedom from this cycle. So that is why it is important. The shloka 15, he says, another continuing, Abrahma bhavana loka punararvartino Arjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. This is very important assurance. He says, even go to any lokas, Brahma lokas, heavens, any other lokas, all these golokas, these people worship Krishna, but all those things, you again come back. But people who merge with me, punarjanmana vidyate. That's like giving an assurance. No more but. Punarjanmana vidyate. You won't be born again. That is the assurance we want to have. That is the advantage once we merge with the God. Okay?
So may I share one more thing in that?
Editorial.
The relevant to this. So why do we need to merge with Swami? Why do we need to have this self-realization? This is also so beautiful. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Brahmavid, Brahmaiva Brahmavat.
Brahmavid Brahmaiva bhavati. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. That is why you always say, Yad bhavam tad bhavati. As you think, there's a famous quotation of Vedanta, as you think, so you become. So dust you think, dust you are. You go say, oh, I'm dust. That is why Swami never liked Vivekananda. Oh, I'm a sinner. There's one thing, unfortunately, Christian tradition, Lord, I'm a sinner, save me. No, Swami says, you are not a sinner. You are divine. I am Brahman. I am God. You should assert your Godhead. To say that you are a sinner, Swami Vivekananda said, is the greatest sin. Because we are divine, we came from God. How can we be? We are part of God. You are sparks of the divine. So we need to assert our Godhead. We go on thinking. That's why Swami says these positive thoughts. But yadbhavam tadbhavati brahmavid brahma. You think you are Brahman, go on thinking. In the beginning you were believe or not, but constantly thinking. After a while it sinks into you, and then you become that. So that is why this is important. Is reinforcement of those thoughts constantly. It is not just, and then it will sink into us.